The One Room Schoolhouse, learned from home with the Glengarry Pioneer Museum. Before schools could be built, children would gather in someone's home and were taught how to read, write, and count. Eventually, parents in the community would get together and build a school. This one-room schoolhouse contained only the bare necessities: a chair for the teacher, desks made of planks for children, some blackboards at the front of the room, and coat hooks at the back. The bathrooms were outside. The stove in the middle of the room kept everyone warm. Such one-room schoolhouses would welcome children from grades 1 through 8, between the ages of 5 and 18. They were all taught by one teacher. Sometimes 100 students could be enrolled, but barely half would attend. The teacher. Teachers often came from other towns and rarely stayed much longer than a year. If the community didn't have a house for the teacher to live in, families with school-age children would take turns boarding the teacher. At first, most teachers were male. Eventually, there would be more female teachers because they could be paid less, and it was thought that they would be more gentle and nurturing with the children. In 1860, a male teacher's salary ranged between $260 and $280 a year, while a female teacher's salary was between $130 and $165 a year. Getting to school. There were no school buses. Children had to walk to school. This walk could be 2 miles long. To keep their fingers warm in the wintertime, children might have warmed a potato on the stove before leaving home, and then held it during their long walk. This potato could turn into lunch come lunchtime. Walking to school. SS No. 1 Kenyon, also known as Battle Hill School, circa 1909. Children mostly walked the 2 miles to school. Notice how the children were all barefoot? Shoes were quite expensive. Imagine walking to school bare feet. Sometimes, children had a horse that they could ride, or a friendly neighbor to give them a buggy or sleigh ride. School supplies. Schools had very few books, and for a long time there were no libraries. Students had to make many of their supplies, such as copybooks to write in. When writing in their copybooks, they used quill pens and at times had to make their own ink. They also used slates to practice writing on. School chores. One of the older boys in class would be named caretaker and would be paid to go to school before it started and light the fire. He would also stay after class and clean up. Children would have to bring water from the well. If there wasn't one, they would have to walk to the nearest neighbor's house or creek to get water. Children would also have to bring wood into the cloakroom to help keep the fire going. Every man that sent a child to school had to donate half a cord of wood before March 1st, or pay 75 cents. John Archie McCrimmon was the first paid caretaker at SS No. 2 Kenyon in 1895. He was paid $4 a year. The daily routine. Teachers would ring the bell to summon students to class at 9 a.m. They would line up at the door, shortest to tallest, and quietly enter the classroom. They would stand by their desk, and once the teacher has greeted them, they would curtsy or bow and wish the teacher a good morning. Together, they would say the Lord's Prayer and sing God Save the Queen. Then comes roll call. The teacher calls out each child's name and they answer present. The teacher might proceed to do a health inspection and check for dirty fingernails or feet. Finally, children are given permission to sit down. Boys sit on the left of the stove and girls on the right. The youngest children sit at the front and oldest in the back. Some schools had separate entrances for boys and girls. girls used the entrance on the right, the boys on the left. Attendance. Teachers took attendance much more diligently than children attended. This attendance record from SS number 11 Lock Heel in 1902, when Ethel Hope was the school teacher, shows that Donald Mackenzie, 14 years old, only attended school for 22 days during the year. Why do you think he missed so much? Holidays. Pioneer children started their school year in January and ended it in December. The summer vacation was only 5 or 6 weeks, the whole month of July and the first 2 weeks of the month of August. They had a little less than 2 weeks off for Christmas time. School would be canceled during snowstorms or when the spring floods made the roads impossible to travel. Royal events such as a coronation or Sons of Scotland events also meant a holiday. Whenever there was a funeral in the community or when it was time to vote, children also had the day off. The 3 R's. Teachers taught mainly 3 subjects nicknamed the 3 R's. These were reading, writing, and arithmetic. Good penmanship was also very important. It was the mark of an educated man. Students would spend hours practicing how to write. Students learned using readers. One of these books had 4 levels. Each time you completed one, you would move up to the next one. Books were rare and most likely had a moral to them, such as, many hands make light. Penmanship. Having good penmanship was very important. Students would spend hours learning how to write. In doing so, they would shape the letters using various arm and hand movements. The shape of these letters were inspired by nature. Writing with the left hand was forbidden. The inscription of this book is dated July 27, 1870. The book belonged to Christy McCrimmon, who attended school at SS number 15 Lock Heel, and whose teacher was John Edward Campbell. Seatwork. When a teacher was busy teaching students in a different grade, the others would have to occupy themselves by doing seat work. They would read their lessons and memorize them in order to recite them to their teacher later on. They would also have to complete different assignments that their teacher would assign them. They would do their work out loud. This way, the teacher knows if they're really working or just daydreaming. The older students would help the younger students complete their work. Can you count how many students this teacher would have to teach? Pioneer School rules for students. Respect your schoolmaster, obey him, and accept his punishments. Do not call your classmates names or fight with them. Love and help each other. At Pioneer School, we follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Female students will conduct themselves as ladies, males as gentlemen. Good manners will be expected. Never make noises or disturb your neighbors at work. Be silent during classes. Do not talk unless it is absolutely necessary. When you wish to speak, you must raise your hand. Wait to be recognized and then stand beside your desk before speaking. When speaking, proper words will be used at all times. Do not leave your seat without permission. Good posture will be assumed by all students. There will be no looking out the doors and windows. There will be many distractions throughout the day. If there is need to use the restroom, you may only ask, "May I be excused?" The Pioneer teacher did not like the words toilet, bathroom, or outhouse. No more than 1 student at a time may go to the washroom. At the end of class, wash your hands and face. Wash your feet if they are bare. Bring firewood into the classroom for the stove whenever the teacher tells you. Go quietly in and out of the classroom. If the master calls your name after class, straighten the benches and tables, sweep the room, dust, and leave everything tidy. Punishment in Pioneer School. Students could be punished for something as simple as looking out the window. Teachers were very strict. Here are a few examples of the punishments students might have received. Standing in a corner. Stand with your nose inside a circle drawn on the blackboard. Stand with your arms outstretched holding a log. Write lines. Wear a dunce cap. Stay after class and wash blackboards. Miss recess. A boy could be made to sit beside a girl, or vice versa. The strap or the hickory stick could also be used. Parents' punishment was sure to be worse than the teacher. Then versus now. How has school changed since the pioneer days? Do you write with a quill? Do you write on a slate? Do you have to walk to school? Are you in the same class as older and younger children? Does your teacher live with you?